judge on Food Network's Kitchen Inferno. He's created menus for hotels, for airlines, and that is just the tip of the iceberg. Welcome back to our kitchen, Chef Daniel Green.
Yes.
He is making a beautiful fish stew for Easter weekend that we're so excited about. It smells so good, right?
I know.
Right there.
Before you dig in, though, I would like to ask everyone a question. Who here would like to get $25,000?
Oh, I would.
Just because you're here, right? Okay, would you like that? And I bet everyone at home would like that too. So I would just like to take this opportunity to remind everyone that our second Home and Family Best Home Cook contest is underway, and this year you have the chance to win $25,000. I mean, that's amazing. All you have to do is go to our Facebook page for full details on how to enter to win. So if you know how to cook, you can win $25,000.
All right.
I'm out. You're out.
And you know what? Unfortunately, you're out because you're a chef.
But I could put this segment in there.
Well, yeah,
I
you
could download the segment to the test and then I get it.
Are you a cook, by the way?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
In my
You
opinion.
That's a Dr. Bailey right there.
Exactly.
Yes, as far as I'm concerned.
So you have just written your 12th cookbook.
Yeah.
It's Paleo 12. Can you believe it?
Wow.
It's called Paleo.
Over a long time.
So he doesn't need the 25.
Someone else.
My first advance was very small.
Paleo Monday to Friday. What does that mean, Monday to Friday paleo?
Well, I've always stuck on healthy. That's always been my niche. You know, I don't consider myself a Michelin star chef. I want to make food that really helps you lose weight if you want to. Paleo was very similar to my concept of how I lost weight years ago. So I live this, you know, it's something that I really know. But the philosophy on paleo, and paleo is about really cutting out anything that's processed. Okay. There's a few no's, but there's some good foods you can have. As I'm sure you know, there's things like avocados and coconut milk and good stuff. But the Monday to Friday is the philosophy that paleo's 80-20, so you can come off of it 20%. Well, I'm not very good at math, so then I suddenly realized I can take the whole weekend off. And that was my philosophy.
Enough.
And they said, okay, I can write a book on that.
And it's really delicious, by the way. I think a lot of people think, oh, if it's healthy, it can't be good, which is completely opposite.
You know, I've always had that real passion. My first dive into food was going to Thailand. And I realized that fat isn't flavor. You don't have to have that. And I always hear chefs say, fat's flavor. And I've always been a believer, actually, you can have brilliant food, tweak it a little bit, and that's what I want to show today.
And you have some beautiful recipes in the book that I'd like to show as well. Let's look at some of these.
Well, in here, I want to show things how you can create food. Like if you love that breakfast sausage, I've made these pork patés, so it's patties rather. So there's all ways of kind of make it a little bit what you love and just tweaking it. Here is like a zucchini instead of using pasta. Okay, you do kind of compromise a little bit, but hopefully if you can add some more, there's some great flavor. And that's real true paleo. Big piece of beef in there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And today you're making this gorgeous fish stew, which is also in the book. Why is this one of your favorite fish stews?
Well, because this is very low fat, and paleo doesn't always have to be low fat. But I want to do this because you can have huge amounts. You can make it on Easter Sunday, maybe Easter Friday. You could do seafood.
You could do it for all of Lent. You know, if you're Greek, you're fasting. You can only eat fish on the weekends. I mean, on Friday.
Talking of which, I did a little ingredient just for you.
Oh, you did?
We've got some garlic.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
We've got some garlic, I've got some onions, got some tomatoes, some fennel seeds, some stock. Over here, some Kalamata olives, which I changed up for the recipe for you today.
I appreciate that. Thank you for my people.
And then what we did is add some seafood. You can add any. We've got some whitefish and some shrimp. And we're just going to kind of make the base by putting in the garlic and the onions and just sweat those for a minute. Okay. My also philosophy is kind of, if I make it too complicated, then we won't make it. So I want people to make lots of dishes from the book.
To be able to do it.
And that's kind of where I come from. I want people to be able to follow this with ease.
You have a really great tip on garlic for people who are afraid of the pungency of the garlic.
You know, a lot of people go to a restaurant and they'll say, oh, I don't want garlic in it because they think it's going to stay on them and they don't love that flavor. If you take a whole bulb of garlic and you wrap it in some foil, drizzle with some olive oil, bake it at about 400 degrees for 45 minutes, it comes out like butter. It is so beautiful.
And you could still use it in a dish and it wouldn't be as
You can
overwhelming.
cook with it. You can have it on if you were not having your paleo day on bread. You can really use it, but it's...
if it's the weekend?
Did I say that word? I said that word.
Put it on white birthday cake with white frosting.
If you want garlic birthday
Or
cake.
just eat the frosting.
Go ahead.
If it's Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Right.
I put some fennel seed in here. Then I'm going to add these olives. These olives give a real richness to them. What you want to do is cook this sauce first. You don't want to put the seafood in too early. People get worried about having fish and seafood because they feel it doesn't taste nice, because it's rubbery. That happens if you overcook it. So don't be afraid to think about undercooking rather than overcooking.
Okay.
And by the time you even take this off the heat, it's still going to cook through.
Correct. Okay. So how long are we going to be cooking the stock and the broth before we put the fish
Well,
in?
ideally, I mean, we could almost do this in real time. Ideally, I'd like to simmer that down for about 5 minutes, so you kind of get a richer sauce. Oh, another great tip. This is lovely. This is one of my favorite ingredients. It's a sun-dried tomato paste. Now, why I love putting that in food is we're not using flours or starch to make that thicker, and that gives flavor, intensity.
It really does.
I love it.
I put tomato paste in everything.
Isn't it?
It's a secret.
It's so fabulous. It's like it
Yeah.
should be one ingredient for
It
every
really
pasta
should.
sauce and every
So
beginning.
good.
So I give that a nice mix.
What do you do? I traveled a lot in my previous career. Because you talked about making menus for the airline.
Yes.
Any tips on when you're traveling, how you eat and how you can balance?
Yeah.
Right, without bloating on the plane? Is that what you're trying to
Well,
ask?
yeah, that. Or
You get on the
bloating
plane at
life,
one weight and you
period.
get off the plane looking like a blowfish? Why does that happen?
Well, the thing is, we're sitting for such long times, aren't we?
Yeah.
So even if you're doing like a 5-hour flight coast to coast, I do the menus for Cathay Pacific, and I really focus on some are paleo dishes and some are much higher in protein and lower in carbs.
Yes.
And the point is, we kind of get to the airport and we go for sugary snacks. We grab those packs; they're easy, and you're going to just have energy. You're going to have spikes, and that's not good sitting. So again, back to basics, have lots of eggs for breakfast, stick to protein, and if you're going away and you're doing that maybe all-inclusive spring break, stick to the protein, and then you won't ever feel like you've eaten too much.
Interesting. I like that. So then you add the shrimp, and what kind of fish is that?
We're using just a white fish. You can use anything. I like using a thicker fish, like maybe a swordfish or even salmon, and that's certainly going to, I'm just going to turn that heat up a little. If you use a salmon, that's going to be a bit richer, and it has got a little bit of fat, but actually this is very, very low carb, low fat, and then when it's finished...
Do you cover it and leave it?
Like cover it and leave it just for a moment, and then it comes out with that sun-dried tomato, just rich and absolutely beautiful. Look at that.
I'm so excited.
You guys enjoy
So
it?
would you say from top to bottom, how long would this take to make?
You could, if you wanted to do it quite quickly, you could do it in about 10 minutes. And that's not talking, that's maybe not the prep time of cutting the onions. You know, luckily, everyone here was so helpful.
Right. We have wonderful executive chefs here who do all that.
So
But even if you did it all yourself, it would be 25 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you want the sauce a little richer, you can reduce it a bit. But, you know, again, I wanted to show people paleo can be quite simple. It's about taking out the bad ingredients and then have some fun on the weekends.
The olives are brilliant.
This is also fun. Watch this. I say tomato, you say tomato. Thought I'd go with that.
You know what I say?
Wonderful.
Delicious.
It's delicious no matter which way you slice it. We're going to come right back and spend time with Nate and Jeremiah.
Super excited. We're going to tell everybody about our brand new show on TLC.
Stay tuned.
It's going to be fun.